Here we are in the World War II gallery again, and we're in front of the museum's SBD Dauntless. This is one of the most famous aircraft of World War II. They built them in quite large numbers, almost 6,000 were built. It's one of the very few aircraft that the Navy flew from before Pearl Harbor to the end of World War II. But what it's most famous for is a single day of glory when, at the Battle of Midway, a small force of 3 squadrons of these dive bombers managed to sink 4 Japanese aircraft carriers, 3 of them in a matter of an hour or 2. But they knocked all 4 of those carriers out of the war at a time when carrier power was really the only way to take over territory across the Pacific. In that one stroke, in that afternoon when we sunk those carriers, essentially we knocked out the offensive capability of the Japanese Navy. Now, the first thing that jumps out at you when you look at the Dauntless is those very interesting dive breaks. This is a dive bomber. The whole purpose in life is to enter a near vertical dive over the top of an enemy warship and place the bomb as accurately as possible. And what the holes in the back of the wing do is they act as a massive speed brake. It'll slow the aircraft down and allow the pilot to exactly position the aircraft in the correct place in the sky to get the bomb onto the target. And very few other aircraft have that. It's something that you pretty much only see on a dive bomber style aircraft. Our specific aircraft came to us out of the Great Lakes. It was recovered after many decades underwater. We spent quite a long time in the basement trying to restore it, but we were only restoring it for display, so it's not a complete restoration like the Corsair below it. This one is a little bit less of a restoration. The best way to tell that is the landing gear of our Dauntless is permanently fused in the down and locked position. We just didn't have the correct tools or the oomph required to break those landing gear free. But otherwise, we have it pretty much displayed in wartime condition. We got this one. This particular model had 2 defensive 30 caliber machine guns in the rear cockpit. Some of the other models only had 1, or they had a 50 caliber. So there's a little bit of variation to these, but I think our Dauntless is a very good representative of the type. And this is one of Ed Heinemann's designs. And what I think is the crowning jewel to his little crown is he designed carrier aircraft with a difference. If you look at this one versus all of the other aircraft in the Navy display, it doesn't share one common characteristic. Everybody else folded their wings. In order to make a high-performance aircraft that fits on a carrier, often there isn't enough space for the wings. Mr. Heinemann was such an exceptional aircraft designer that he found out the exact size of the elevators on the Navy carriers, and he designed his aircraft to fit perfectly on them without needing the folding wings. That one little design element, he carried through even into the Vietnam era. The A-4 Skyhawk is the only Vietnam era jet to go into combat without folding wings. That's because it's designed by the same man, Ed Heinemann. So, very neat artifacts and one of my favorite aircraft. Come on down and see it.